All right, welcome back to the channel. So, wow, man, Floyd Mayweather Jr. has a bunch of Hall of Famers, man. Well, yeah, is it a bunch? Yeah, I would say a few Hall of Famers that are now seemingly agreeing with Max Kellerman that Manny Pacquiao has the better legacy than Floyd Mayweather Jr. Hard to reconcile, but if you listen carefully what is actually said, there's a very solid point being made. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Buddy McGirt, who is a trainer that I respect as much as any trainer in boxing. I do believe he's a former world champion, fought Pernell Whitaker in a very, very good fight. Top fighter, definitely, and trainer, definitely going to the Hall of Fame for the work that he has done as a trainer with Arturo Gatti and Sergey Kovalev. And also you hear another Hall of Fame fighter in Bernard Hopkins, both say, along with a scumbag Dillian White, we don't care about Dillian White, say that Manny Pacquiao has the better career than Floyd Mayweather Jr. does. Now, before I get into that though, let me say, welcome you back to the channel if you are a subscriber, and to ask the people that have subscribed and watch the videos regularly, make sure you hit the bell icon so that you can get notified of when we release the videos, and make sure that when you select it, you're gonna have 3 options. Select the one that says all, and that way you'll get all of the notifications. And when we have our live streams in the morning, you won't miss the notification. Also, special thank you to everybody that supports on the Patreon and as a channel member, and to everybody that comes by the live streams. Thank you guys so much. So, look, a few years ago, Max Kellerman said that he thought that Manny Pacquiao was the #1 fighter of the century over Floyd Mayweather Jr., right? And a bunch of people were upset about it. I was like, man, you're out of your mind. Floyd Mayweather Jr. beat Manny Pacquiao and he lost 6 times. How in the world could he have been fighter of the century? I mean, how could he be the fighter of the decade from 2000 to 2010 over Floyd Mayweather Jr.? And how could he be fighter of the decade between 210 and 220? To me, it sounded ridiculous, and it still does sound ridiculous, right? So, because I think that's nonsense. How are you going to be the fighter of the century over a guy that beat you and didn't lose, right? It's tough for me to get my head around. So when I heard that Buddy McGirt said that he thought that Manny Pacquiao had the better career, and I heard Bernard Hopkins say the same thing, or at least it's attributed to Bernard Hopkins that he said the same thing, I was like, let me look into this, because I find a hard time believing that Floyd Mayweather Jr., that Buddy McGirt is going to say that Manny Pacquiao is a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather Jr. or Bernard Hopkins would say that, because that just doesn't make any sense to me, right? Then I read what they actually said, and again, that's why you should actually listen to what people say, but listen to what they actually say. And try your best not to make leaps in logic from what they say to what you want to hear. Now, I'm listening to what the words that they used. When they said have a better career, or they would rather have had Manny Pacquiao's career than Floyd Mayweather's career, that is a different subject. That's a different topic as to who is the better fighter, right? Now, when you put it that way, when you separate who is the better fighter, right? Who is the better skilled fighter? Who beat, who's going to be the highest in the all-time rankings? Who made the most money? Who did, right? Or better yet, who is the better fighter? That's one thing. But when you say whose career would you rather have, that becomes a matter of personal choice, right? And you and your value, the value that you place upon their accomplishments in their career. Now, one of the things that they said, the key thing that's been said about Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao, and this is something Blood Boxing, shout out to Blood Boxing, and this is why I'm telling y'all, listen to Blood Boxing, because Blood Boxing, it oftentimes is right in the very long run. You can be right today, right? And have everybody agree with you today. But then you see if as time goes on and you see how things play out, eventually, you may wind up in a situation where everybody agreed with you, right at that second. But as everything played out, people are like, oh no, the guy I ridiculed was right. So in this case, with a guy like Blood Boxing, he was out there saying it pretty much during the entire second phase of Floyd Mayweather's career, is that he's cherry picking and he's picking this guy and he's picking that guy. He's the A side. He's making and he's choreographing because he has the financial influence. He is in the star power. He is choreographing the second portion of his career and picking fighters and choosing fighters that he has style advantages against, and the timing is right, all that type of stuff, right? Versus a Manny Pacquiao. Now, this is what Buddy McGirt is saying, and I think Bernard Hopkins saying, they're saying, look, yeah, Floyd Mayweather Jr. made a lot of money. He never lost. He won a bunch of championships. He beat a bunch of guys that either had the championship at the time or had it in the past. He's a Hall of Fame fighter, dude. Floyd Mayweather Jr. accomplished exactly what it was that Floyd Mayweather Jr. set out to accomplish, which was to be the biggest money earner in the sport of boxing, and it eventually became in the history of boxing, right? To become the face of boxing, to never lose. He's accomplished all of those goals himself. However, for Bernard Hopkins and Buddy McGirt as fighters, they could say, well, look, I would rather have the legacy where I beat the best people that were in my division, and I fought the best people and I beat them. And even if sometimes I didn't beat them, I still fought them, right? There was no scenario where I didn't, or like say Manny Pacquiao, where there was a guy out there that people wanted him to fight that he refused to take the fight, or where he positioned himself, and you know what I mean? So if you look at it from the position of, who is the fighter that you would rather have his accomplishments, they say they would rather have Manny Pacquiao's accomplishments. Now, they make an error in what they say, like Buddy McGirt said that, he's won championships in 8 divisions, right? Now, truth be told, he didn't win major championships in 8 divisions. He won them in 7 divisions because Ricky Hatton, the fight at 140 pounds, was for the I think it was for the IBO or the WB. Now, I'm pretty sure it was the IBO, but it was a secondary belt that he beat Ricky Hatton for. It wasn't one of the major sanctioning bodies. So, Manny Pacquiao doesn't have a belt in that division. However, some of the things that you can say about Manny Pacquiao, you really can't say about any other fighter, right? Like, you can't say anybody else that I don't know of anybody else that held a belt in 4 different decades, right? A guy that won in the 1990s, the guy that held a championship in the 2000s, that in the 1990s, won one from 2000 to 2010, then held a championship during the time frame between 2010 and 2020, and now since he's the WBA champion in 2020, he's now held a belt between 2020 and 2030, right? So that's championships in 4. That's holding titles in 4 different decades. And in order to do that, you have to be one of the best fighters in the world in a division for each of those decades, right? So in the early 1900s, the late 1990s, he was at 100. I think he started at like at 105 or something. One of those very, very small weight classes. He might have actually won his first championship though. At maybe it was 115. He might have won his first championship at. I'd have to count him. 115, 118. Then I think he went up to 130. Then 130, 135, 140, 147, and 154. But take out the 140. So he might have had a little bit further down. But that weight range, dude, that is absolutely huge. And he was the man in many of those divisions. And not only that, he fought Marco Antonio Barrera. He fought Eric Morales, lost to Eric Morales, fought Eric Morales again. He's beaten Oscar De La Hoya. He's beaten Miguel Cotto. He's beaten there's as many big names or more big names probably on the resume of Manny Pacquiao than there is on Floyd Mayweather Jr., even though you know that they fought at different times and the guys had different careers and different circumstances. Like I know and acknowledge that Manny Pacquiao, when he fought Oscar De La Hoya, that Oscar De La Hoya draining all the way down to, I think he was like 146 or something like that, versus fighting Floyd Mayweather Jr. earlier at a higher weight. I know that, some of the guys that they fought, Manny Pacquiao fought after he did. Manny Pacquiao also had a harder time with Juan Manuel Marquez than Floyd Mayweather Jr. did. But really, that just, again, that goes to whether or not you think that who you think is the better fighter. I definitely believe Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the better fighter, but I do believe that there is a legitimate argument to be made about, as far as in the ring, who really laid it on the line more in their career. Floyd Mayweather Jr. definitely did that in the first half of his career, but there's just a lot of, there's the Paul Williams thing. I skipped the Antonio Margarito thing. He was just a cheater and Floyd was good. I'm glad Floyd never fought him. But there's, the Winky Wright. There's the Paul Williams. Sean Porter was there when he was fighting. Keith Thurman was there when he was fighting. Manny Pacquiao, although Keith Thurman was coming off a layup, Manny Pacquiao fought Keith Thurman. So, all in all, dude, I disagree with what Max Kellerman said. I think that's bananas. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is definitely the better fighter. He proved it in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, and he's proved it in the ring with everybody else that he's been in the ring with, that he's the better fighter. He's the best fighter of this century, in my opinion. The number 2 guy behind him isn't even Manny Pacquiao for me. It's Andre Ward. But as far as showing the heart of a champion and fighting fighting at a very high level for a very long time over a bunch of weight classes, God dog, man, it's hard not to say Manny Pacquiao has had a career for the ages. You know what I mean? And so much respect to Manny Pacquiao, much respect to Floyd Mayweather Jr. as well. Manny Pacquiao wasn't able to do what Floyd Mayweather was able to do, but, Floyd Mayweather Jr. didn't do or chose not to try to do some of the things that Manny Pacquiao was able to do. So that's my take on the scenario. Man, please leave a comment in the comment section. Share the video if you like it. Like the video if you like it. And thank you to everybody that supports in the live streams, the Patreon and the channel memberships. And I'm gonna catch you on the next video. Again, leave a comment in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.